Today we'll be doing a group performance in the junior division on Title IX, Getting Girls in the Game. I'm Gabriella Young.
I'm Jessica Dexheimer.
And I'm Madeline Young.
Imagine a world with no sports.
No equal opportunities, no fair play.
That's what life was like for women before Title IX.
While UCLA men's basketball team was winning their way into record books, women are fighting for the chance to attend medical schools, law schools, and playing sports.
Men had the best practice fields, playing times, and equipment, including a weight room girls were prohibited from using. Men were showered with booster club support and other perks girls did not receive.
Women often had to run on the field, mow, and paint lines just hours before the game, while the men's teams were taken care of 3 days in advance by the schools.
The girls' volleyball team at West Hempstead High School had to walk a half-mile to the Cornwall Elementary School. The reason, the gym at their own school was being used for boys' basketball.
Only 4% of the actual Title IX law deals with athletics, yet the majority of lawsuits and debate concerning Title IX have focused on sports.
When Title IX was passed, only 15% of the school athletes were women.
There was a need for legislation. This was just not right.
In 1972, Congress passed Title IX, expanding the Civil Rights Act of 1964, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sex. The law stimulated a debate over the role of girls and women and vastly improved the opportunities to participate in athletics. Title IX failed to adequately address issues of funding and implementation, leaving those decisions to the courts and educational institutions. Despite these limitations, the public increasingly supported gender equality in sports. The legacy of Title IX is a generation of girls and women who grew up with athletics and all its opportunities on and off the field as a natural part of their lives. Many girls today don't realize how bad sports were before Title IX, based off of what athletics are like today. They assume it has always been this way.
Hey, aren't you Billie Jean King? Could you sign this for my daughter? She's a tennis player.
Oh, of course.
I'm sure you probably get asked this a lot, but do you mind?
No.
Your match against Bobby Riggs happened in 1973, a year after Title IX passed. Why do you think these two major events happened at the same time?
I'm not sure if it was a coincidence or just a sign of times. You have to remember, I only played Bobby Riggs in September 1973 because he soundly defeated Margaret Court in May of that year. She was then the #1 player in the world. This is a tennis match on the outside, but it was more about social change. I want to change the hearts and minds of America and more closely match the Title IX. You have to remember that it was 1973. Vietnam was just cooling down, and Watergate and women's movements were just heating up. And I wanted it to be equal for men and women.
Very true. How did you get the confidence to play Bobby Riggs so publicly when so many people were so critical about the match and women playing at the same level as men?
I think it's more about confidence and courage. I knew that if I prepared properly and had a solid game plan, I could win. Since I was a young girl, I've been focused on equal rights for all, boy, girl, man, or women. And at the time, it was the women who were receiving this. As I helped the women. If men's would have been underserved, I probably would have helped them too. It's about equal rights, not just rights.
You have been involved in athletics your whole life. What impact do you believe Title IX has on the many generations of young women and girls in athletics today?
I'm a strong believer that we all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. Title IX has enabled girls to get their fair share of the educational pie. Before Title IX, there were quotas on the number of girls who would attend medical schools and law schools. That's why there's so few female lawyers and doctors in my generation. But after Title IX, there was parity.
You have played sports. Since you have played sports before Title IX, what obstacles did you face and how did you overcome these obstacles?
Well, I was the best tennis player at Cal State LA, male or female, and while the boys received scholarships, the girls did not. I had to work 3 jobs in college, do my studies, and play tennis. I don't know how I found the time to do it, but my studies were very important to me, and I simply love tennis. When you want something bad enough, you find a way to make it happen.
It is 1972, and Congress is debating the education amendments to the 1964 Civil Rights Law. Title IX was tucked into a larger bill. Most debate about Title IX was about busing and other issues. The debate that did go on about Title IX was brief and with much purpose. The goal of supporters of Title IX was not to lobby too much and hope it would stay in the final bill. Most of the debate about Title IX came after it was passed.
Edith Green, Oregon. I propose no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance.
John M. Erlenborn, Illinois. I feel that if Congress permits the federal government to take away from colleges their right to determine the composition of their own student bodies, it will plant the seed of destruction in our system of higher education as we know it.
As my colleague Pat Chiming from Hawaii stated, millions of women pay taxes into the federal treasury to which we collectively resent that these funds should go to the institutions to which we were denied equal access to. Plus, without a fair shot at the same undergraduate schools, women couldn't possibly compete with men for the same graduate schools or good jobs after college.
I feel that many congressmen will agree with me that this proposal will force schools to accept fixed numbers of males and females with the government dictating the student mix.
All I want and all I ask is that if two individuals, a man and a woman, come to a college or university and have equal credentials and apply for admissions, they should be treated as equals. As Pat Chiming stated, and I and others agree, when it was proposed, we had no idea that its biggest impact would be on athletics. I'd always focused on the academic point of view. I was denied from medical school because I was female.
Title IX was passed on June 23, 1972, and signed by Richard Nixon. Many girls went back to school that fall, seeing very few changes. You see, nothing happened if the school didn't comply. Because this, it was amended in 1975. Not all schools followed it completely. There were heated arguments about Title IX, many of them making it to the courts. These cases helped define Title IX. Title IX was originally written with several loopholes leading to the courts to further clarify it. Brown v. Cohen is just an example of a case going to the courts. Court is now in session.
My client Cohen is suing Brown University for not complying with Title IX. They have built up their women's programs and now they are not funding two of them. They are making them donor funded. We can't afford this. Keep these girls in the game.
Your Honor, my client, Brown University, also cut two of its men's teams. Water polo and golf, there is now an equal number of men's and women's teams.
Equal number of teams maybe, but their football team has over 200 members. They've only cut the non-popular men's teams. How can you tell me that a team of over 200 is equal to a team of only one? No two teams have the same number of players on them. Now how can you tell me that that's equal?
Everybody wants to watch our football team compete, but who wants to watch a women's sporting event? Besides, these women are just not interested in sports. Furthermore, not all of our 200 members play, so they should not all be included in numbers of equality.
The number of women and men competing in athletics is not proportionate to the number of students attending Brown University, and therefore is not complying with the three-pronged test, and therefore is not complying with Title IX.
The court determined Brown University was not in compliance with Title IX. The court understood their financial position and left it up to Brown as to how they could comply. Brown appealed the case to the Supreme Court, who refused to hear it, letting the judgment stand and putting an end to the long-standing way of doing things that are inherently unequal. The debate over the cost and benefits of Title IX continued. Many cases like these ones were tried so that education institutions could enforce Title IX better. Over time, these institutions became more aware of Title IX and followed the law more completely.
Today, women get the chance to experience the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat far more than they used to.
Also, sports show an increase in female self-esteem. Sports encourage confidence, certainly helping women advance in the corporate world.
Title IX has lifted the spirits of athletics. Now girls know they're as valuable as boys.
In a 1995 Nike ad, it had a poem about women in sports. It read,
"If you let me play sports,
I will like myself more.
more self-confidence.
I will be 60% less likely to get breast cancer.
I will suffer less depression.
I'll be more likely to leave a man who beats me.
I will be less likely to get pregnant before I want to.
I will learn what it is like to be strong.
If you let me play sports."
Today, 43% of college athletes are women, a major increase from the 15% in 1972.
Making Title IX as strong as possible is the right thing to do, said Vice President Joe Biden. Allow women to realize their potential so that this nation can realize its potential.
In 1972, Congress passed Title IX, expanding the Civil Rights Act of 1964, prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sex.
The law stimulated debate over the role of girls and women and vastly improved opportunities to participate in athletics.
Title IX failed to adequately address issues of funding and implementation, leaving those decisions to the courts and educational institutions.
Despite these limitations, the publicly increasingly supported gender equality in athletics.
The legacy of Title IX is a generation of girls and women who grew up with athletics and all its opportunities on and off the field as a natural part of their lives.
Getting girls in the game. Woo!
Most of the debate was about busing and other issues. The debate that did go on about Title IX briefly, from much more school supports them that Title IX is not to. Why are you so
What are you doing?
Are you filming this?
Yeah, I just have more.
It's green order. I propose no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination or an education program or activity reason for financial assistance.
John N. Ellenberg, Illinois. I feel that Congress was the federal government to take away from colleges the right to determine the composition of own student bodies will plan to see the discussion in our system of higher education as we know it.
It's 9 College passed to make for Ohio State. The millions would pay taxes in the federal treasury which collect provisions that these funds should go to the institutions to which we deny equal access to. Plus, without a fair shot of the same undergraduate schools, women couldn't possibly compete with men for good jobs.